something else we'll get to.
Yes, sir.
But the NFL, changing rules as they do every year. I think the NFL does it too much. Every time something doesn't go right for somebody, they change the rule the next year. I'm just like, dude, okay, it didn't work out. Or it did. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, it's like, sometimes you just want to be some consistency to it.
They're at the drawing board. All right, so the kickoffs. All right, so you can go to the 25. Okay, all right, hear me out. You can't move, but then if you run, all right, hear me out. I mean, my goodness, we have changed the kickoff, or at least considered it a million different times.
And they just said something about the onside kick. You could do it at any. Well, you should be able to do it at any time.
I'm with you on that.
I have no idea. I don't like if I want to lead the game. I'm just saying, like, if I want to lead the game off and I want to do an onside, why shouldn't I be able to? If
I couldn't agree more.
Find somebody sleeping, right? Because they thinking I'm gonna kick it in the end zone. Be awake.
Well, you still can't do that though.
No, I know.
You can do it at any time. You have to be trailing.
I'm just saying. Yeah. That's
I get what you're saying. You're saying I should be a period.
I'm just saying you should be able to do an onside kick whenever you want. I don't like why.
That's like saying, Rob,
like
you can only go for like a trick, fake punt, only if you're down. If I see your defense or special teams ain't lined up right, hey, you know what I've noticed about 2 times now, the defense ain't right, special teams. Let's go for a fake punt. No, we can't because we're not down.
We're not trailing, right?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
To me, you should be able to do anything you want within the confines of the rules.
And they have to pay attention, and they have to be alive and awake. And what was it, in the Super Bowl?
Yep, the Saints.
Right. I mean, that saved the game for them. I mean, it was a gutsy. If they wouldn't to recover that, Sean Payton doesn't. If his team doesn't recover that and gives them a short field and they get a touchdown against them on that, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I'm completely. That will always be the poster child for it. Like, well, I don't really think you Exhibit A. They went for it all early, the second kickoff of the second half, and they got it. The crowd's going crazy. The team's excited. It changed the whole trajectory, the whole vibe of their team, and they would go on to win. So to me, yeah, I love it. It's not trickery. I mean, it's a bit trickery, but to me, it's also just part of the game. Like, you don't know when I'm going to do this. You don't know when I'm going to do that. I might go for 2. I can go. By the way, I'm going to go for 2 every time. Kind of like the Lions do that a lot. The Ravens do that a lot. If that's what they choose to do, it shouldn't be, hey, you can only go for 2 if you're down.
And of course, the big one is the Tush push that has been conversation about. And I guess they didn't get approval. I mean, they didn't get enough votes to ban it. 22
Correct.
of the 32 votes. Falling too short, you need 24 votes. And the teams that reportedly saved the Tush push by voting against the proposal. Eagles, Ravens, Browns, Lions, Jaguars, Dolphins, Patriots, Saints, Jets, and Titans. So those are the teams that saved the Tush push. I think it's a lot of nothing. And I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it's that entertaining. I don't think it's football. It looks like rugby. It just doesn't feel like it's a part of football that I'm going to pick somebody up and push them toward. Why not? Why can't that just be a play where the linemen take a player behind them, pick them up off their feet.
Come here, little man.
Right, and then they just run straight with 4 guys in front and the tight end and running back holding him up behind this line, and they're just running straight. I don't. Is that football? Does that? It's not. I know it's been effective for the Eagles, so I understand why some people question it. But is it a football move? I guess is my problem with it. It just doesn't feel like football.
So I totally get that. My counter to that would be, or an addition actually, defensively. I can't pick a guy up. If a little running back runs into a defensive tackle, Chris Jones, and I pick him up, I can't go backwards, and those count for negative yards, right? Those is forward progress. Wherever you tackled them, that's wherever you started the initial tackle. And so to me, I do like Ephraim. Shout out to Ephraim. We had Ephraim on yesterday, and he brought up a great point of just the idea that you can do it, quarterback sneak, what you've done, or you can even kind of get behind the guy. But once you elevate him, once you lift him up, levitate him, play's dead. Wherever you were, that's where we stopped the ball. You know what I mean? You can't lift him up.
100%.
He jumps up in the air. You can't push his butt to tush and push him forward. But specifically with the play, I think what's interesting about this, in this conversation, in this meeting, which apparently got really heated, got really tense, you had owners speaking up against other owners. And one of the things I do like that Jerry Jones brought up was his point was, I can't front. I'm battling. Am I just doing this because my team can't do it, we're not good at it, or it's actually wrong for the game? And I thought that was pretty, forthright of him to just say, and some self-awareness to say, am I bitter and mad because I can't do it, or it's just not the right thing? And I thought that was adult of him to say, because a lot of folks were having that in that room. If you read, you read the article, like, is this something that's really bad for the game, or I just mad because one team has perfected it? Because when you look at
I just don't think it's football. It feels or looks like rugby or something.
Well, the Eagles brought in a rugby the coach, the trainer to come in there.
Because you're playing rugby now.
They're like, hey, how you do that when you do that? But when you start looking at the numbers, Rob, it's like, all right, are we making a big fuss about nothing? First of all, we know only really two teams do it. The Eagles do it to perfection, to the tune of, I think they've done 122 since 2023 attempts, and they've gotten 105 of them, 30 for touchdowns. And we know each Super Bowl, their first score was a tush push into the end zone. So there's one team that has perfected it. Then there's the Bills, who had actually backfired on them this past playoff run against the Chiefs. So it almost makes you go, ooh. The team with arguably the biggest, most athletic quarterback, it didn't work for. And then why?
And he's running left and right.
He's running left and right. And when you look at the numbers, Rob, it's not 28%. It's not 1%. It's 0.28. 0.28% of plays were that. Extremely less than 1%. Not even like almost 1%. So it's almost, are we making a fuss about something that happens way less than 1% of the time? And I think that's why, for me, I think they are going to resurface this next year, because I think it's just going to be an ongoing thing, because the Eagles they have perfected and will continue to do it. But I just think it's a non-starter when only one team truly, and then another team in the Bills do it. I think you just kind of go, all right, you know what?
Well, because all it takes is a couple teams to do it and lose a game, or some situation, right, where it doesn't work out for you, and then you go, is that really what we want to do? I don't know. It just doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like a part of what we're used to watching in football. I don't think it's some special weapon. I'm surprised that those other teams went along with it, and
they said it was persuasive. The Lurie, the Eagles owner, and also you had Kelsey in there as well, and they made it very persuasive. They gave their example. You got the former football player, his perspective. This is why we do it. This is what works. It's actually this. It's not as physical, and it doesn't hurt you as much as you think. And you had the owner saying, come on, guys, what are we doing? So they kind of changed. It's almost like, you're looking at the politicians when they got a lobby, go on the Congress floor, and you try to go to some caucuses, and you lobby to them, and you tell them, come on, man, let's not change this law, or let's change this bill. A lot of that went on in there. The other point of emphasis was injury, and they did a bunch of studies, and they haven't been able to find that it's actually increases injury. And I think that also played a role, that I think some teams, a handful of owners probably walked in there expecting us to get a envelope or a folder full of data that says more injuries occur with this, more injuries occur with that. And they didn't get that as well. So I do think that played a role, meaning we're only doing it 0.28, 0.28% of the times. Only 1.5 team really do it. And there's no injury data, at least as of now, that shows it's more injury prone. I think that played a big, big role on it as well.
Yeah. It probably not going to last that long.
They'll be right back here next year.
Because it was only 2 votes that, you know what I mean? Like, it's so close that you easily could get a team or a couple teams to change their mind next year, or some situation happen. So it'll be interesting going forward to just see where it is. But I don't think it adds anything. I don't think it's exciting. I don't think it just feels out of place to me. Like it doesn't make sense for players to pick up another player, or just you wouldn't allow it in any other circumstance or situation. Why in the world? It would be like 2 NBA players picking up somebody so that they can dunk.
Come here, Spud.
Yeah, exactly. Like We'll pick
Bugsy.
We'll pick you up, and then you can like that wouldn't be allowed, right?
Yo, so I'm gonna bend down, just jump off my back.
Right, get on my back, and then they'll pass you the ball.
Yeah, I do think they're going to be right back at this table because I think the Eagles are going to still do it. Not who knows if they win the Super Bowl or not, but I think they're going to be dominant. And the last point I'll make, too, I think also in this meeting, one of the ideas was that the Eagles, Lurie said, hey, we win either way because either we keep it and it's something that we continue to do and perfect and are good at, or you guys take it out and we say we were so bad at this play, as in good, like we were so dominant that y'all had to change a whole play because of us. And I do think pride might have gotten that room a little bit where, hold on, I ain't saying y'all was all that. Hold on. I ain't going to give you the credit of being like, yeah, man, we so dominant, y'all couldn't even stop us. Y'all had to cry to get like a bunch of babies and change the rule. So I think pride might have gotten that root a little bit where they're like, all right, I ain't going to do all that. I'm going to just try to figure out a way to stop you. And I do think whatever, we go back and watch that Chief game, there was a couple of times the Bills did it, maybe they shouldn't have, and maybe that will be something people can lean on and say it can be stopped. Because Josh Allen is bigger than Jalen Hurts, maybe just as fast, just as athletic, maybe more athletic. And if he couldn't do it, maybe there's hope of stopping it.